everyone, thank you for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be doing a makeup tutorial on this look that I'm wearing right here. This is the look that I wore out to my birthday dinner. I turned 24 over last weekend and my boyfriend took me out to dinner. His birthday was actually 3 days later, so it was kind of both of our birthday dinners, and this is the look that I wore. And literally after I finished doing this makeup before dinner, I looked at my reflection in the mirror and I just kind of yelled to my boyfriend across the apartment. I was like, I look hot. And that's how I felt, and I felt fantastic. And it's a lot of steps. It took me a while to do this, but I hope that if you are looking for a going out makeup look that is not too intense, it's not too much, but you want to feel hot, that you give this look a try, or just something like this. We kept things bold and full glam. This is full glam, but we kept it pretty neutral, so it is very wearable. Thank you again for clicking on this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Do you do special makeup on your birthday? I never used to because I didn't care, but now I do because it's something that just makes me feel good on the inside, like for myself. And so I'm not going anywhere today, and I just did this makeup look because I loved it so much that I wanted to wear it again. So if you do this look, let me know. And if you're watching this because you're doing makeup for your birthday, happy birthday. Oh my gosh, happy birthday. And let's get into the tutorial. Okay, first things first, I am going to put a headband in my hair just to the point that it's right behind my hairline. I don't want too much of my hair exposed because I'm gonna go with a lot of product pretty high up. So I just kind of want that up and out of the way. So let's just get things started because this is gonna be a process, okay? We're gonna go in with 3 primers, which is excessive. I know, it's so fucking excessive. You don't need 3 primers. I don't need 3 primers. This look doesn't need 3 primers. And now I'm gonna talk you through what I'm using and why I'm using them. All right, these are the 3 primers that we're using today. We're using this NYX Marshmallow Primer. I've talked about this before. I use it because I have it. Is it anything, does the look need this? No, it doesn't. But I have it and I'm just trying to use it up. These 2 primers, not exactly, but these 2 types of primers are things that I do recommend for this look. This is just a shimmery primer. This is the Becca First Light Priming Filter. This is discontinued. You can't get this anymore, but just like any sort of like glowy primer, because we are gonna be doing a full coverage look and we're gonna be setting it because we want it to last a long time. So we're gonna be putting on a lot of product. So we just want to make sure that there's a glow from within that comes through. And then this is a mini size. This is not what they're selling for a full size, don't worry. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Face Primer, which is similar to like the like e.l.f. Power Grip, like Hydro Grip, any of those like gripping primers. This is kind of the same idea, so it's gonna really hold your makeup on. So this is the order. The order that I show them to you is the order that I apply them in. So the NYX one, just all over the face. No rhyme or reason to this. Also with these, it's kind of like smoothing primers as well. I do put them under my eyes, just, I don't know. In my head, it helps with like concealer creasing. I don't know if that's true, but that is what I do. Also, if I keep looking up there, my mirror is back there. So that's what's going on. Then I go in with my shimmery, this isn't actually shimmery, it's just glowy. My glowy primer, mostly on like the top and like the edges of the face, and then with what's left after, then I'll just go into the middle. Because we want to be glowy all over, but we don't want to be like too glowy in the center of our face because then that looks oily. And then with our grippy primer, I personally don't put this all over. You can if you want. I use about a pea-sized amount, and this is really personal. Anywhere that you find your makeup tends to fade throughout the day, so that for me is around my nose, my mouth, and for some weird reason, the bottom of my cheeks by my jaw. Maybe it's because I touch my face a lot, so I rub it in and then I like tap it to make sure it's tacky. Okay, next we are moving on to foundation. I use my tried and true. If you were doing a special occasion look, or in this instance, a birthday look, I want to look my best, I'm going to use a foundation that I know that I love, which is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy Foundation. It's $5, and truly, like, I have not found a foundation better than this, even in high end, that like I love the most for me. Because this foundation, you can apply it to have light coverage, you can apply it to have medium coverage, and you can build this up to full coverage, which is what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna probably end up using more than this, and I am gonna apply it with a sponge. So we are probably going to end up using more product than if I applied it with a brush. but I just really want that smooth, spongy finish. And I always pick it up with my sponge, so that way my sponge is just putting product down and not picking product up. So we're gonna work in light layers, because if you want something to stay for as long as we want our makeup to stay on, you wanna work in light layers. Because if you put on just like one big thick glob of a layer, it's not gonna dry down. It's not gonna dry down. And so if you work in these thin layers, you give the foundation time to sink into your skin and set a bit before you go in with your second layer. And so it has something to grip to, and it's not just wet foundation on top of wet foundation, you know? And I have the shade Light Warm. I think I should have Light Cool, but... And then we are kind of putting this in the hairline. That's why I put the headband pretty close to my hairline, because I do want to make sure that there's not like a line of demarcation where my hair starts. So that we are protecting the hair with the headband. And we are just going to keep working in layers and building this up. And a tip, if you ever find that your sponge is like picking up the product underneath it when you're putting more on, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Let it set. Don't try and like pick up what you just put down. Just leave it. Just let it set, let it sink in, and then go back over it. And then it will be fine. And then you'll be able to blend it all out and build up the coverage how you want. Okay, I cut that all out because I was here for a few minutes. And do you see what I mean when I say that you can build this up to full coverage even with a sponge? I'm wearing probably like 3 layers of foundation right now. It's a lot, but it doesn't look super heavy. It still looks fine. I don't look like a cake face. But this is full coverage. And then I'm going to conceal with the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealers. I mix the shades light and fair because that is kind of the perfect shade for me. And then I'll go in extra with a little bit of fair to do highlighting on the rest of my face, because we are doing a full glam look today. And then again, I'm gonna, what's on my finger? I apply it to the sponge first. And then we're just gonna go in. Under the eyes and take care of that. And this is not the most full coverage concealer in the world, but I am not needing a crazy amount of concealer because of the full coverage foundation that we already used. And then I'm just gonna go in with fair in the places that I want to highlight, which is like right around here. I applied it with my finger, but we are going to blend out with a sponge. And the sponge will just really help to melt everything in together with each other into the skin. And then when you're wearing this much makeup, you don't want to set everything when it is like fully still wet. So I'm not setting anything yet because it is still wet, and I kind of wanted to just like melt together and like settle on my skin first. And also I'm gonna go in with some cream products, but I'm leaving the under eyes unset for right now and everything else. I'm gonna go in with this Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Bright Side. It's more of a neutral color and it's nice and light. And then my Sephora number 56 brush, limited edition handle, but it's just the number 56 brush. I get this on the brush, and then I tap off like a little bit of the excess, either on the back of my hand or on a paper towel. I have a paper towel right here, so don't look at it. I'm just gonna tap a little bit out on that. And then we're gonna go on to the cheeks. And we are just going to use a patting motion for the whole thing. And I put that a little too high, but we can fix that. And then this is also, we're gonna go like right into that hairline right there, which is another time that the headband is helpful. And one of the things that I love about using cream bronzer is even if you do put too much on, it's gonna be set on top of with powder anyway, which is going to take down some of the pigment, which is also why I am applying more than I would if I was just doing bronzer, because you want to build it up if it's going to be set underneath powder. And we are really, really pressing this into the skin. We are not swiping because that is going to take off the pigment and the product underneath it. So we are just really pressing this into the skin. And I am, on this side I brought it a little too high, but we're fixing that. But this, we're not gonna go in with an extra contour today. You could if you wanted to, I just don't want to. So I am gonna also just use this bronzer on the chin as well and bring it a little bit lower. But I do love the Essence Cream Contour. I forgot to grab it. That's literally why I'm not using it. I'm making excuses like I don't want to. I just forgot to grab it. But I did use that on the day. So if you are using like a bronzer to contour, just use a little bit less. So that way it doesn't look too warm or like too noticeable that it's a bronzer. And then I always put bronzer on my nose, my little nosy, into the crease. And that's how the skin is looking. And then because I'm excessive and ridiculous, I'm gonna use 2 different powders. I'm gonna use a loose powder under my eyes and then a pressed powder on the rest of my face. So under my eyes, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder because I love that it's a powder, but it's not like a matte powder. It does have that glow, and so it doesn't make the under eyes look super like dry. I'm gonna tap out the under eyes first, just to make sure there's no creases. And then I'm gonna pick it up with a powder puff, and we are going to just set that under eye with a loose powder. And like enough loose powder. One thing I've had to learn is that powder is your best friend for everything, especially if you want your makeup to last. A setting spray will do wonders, but not without powder. Because then, like, in my mind, setting spray grips to the powder, and that's what like locks it on. And then for the rest of the face, I'm gonna use my No. 7 Lift and Illuminate setting powder. I love this. I love this. I love this. And I just take that on a puff as well. This one's a little bit dirty. Don't come for me. And I just pick it up on the puff, and then I will just stamp it on my face. And then once it's stamped, if I want to go in with like little like sweeping motions, I will, but normally stamping is good enough because then you're really pressing it and setting it. And I like a puff as opposed to a brush because I make sure that I'm getting every spot on my face really set down. I always make sure to get around your nostrils. And I love this powder because it doesn't look super matte and powdery. It kind of just like blurs the skin while setting everything. And keeps, like, this is the most skin-like finish powder I have ever used. And then I just can't stand like powder and foundation stuff in my brows, so. Yeah, you see, this is the light warm shade. It's a little bit too warm for me. Okay, and then at this point, your face should be feeling a little bit dry, especially if you have dry skin. My skin feels a bit dry, but that's when you could take like some MAC Fix Plus or something and then just spray your face. It'll like kind of sync everything together and take away a bit of that dry feeling, but alas. And now I forgot to put this on under my powder. This is the e.l.f. Putty Blush in Bora Bora. Luckily, these are cream to powder finishes and they still work well over powder. So we're going to apply this over powder just with the little brush. And I'm kind of focusing on this like outward motion because I want to have that really like look, you know. And then I put blush where I put my bronzer, on my forehead. If you want your makeup to look cohesive, put blush on your forehead. I cannot stress it enough. Put it over your bronzer on your forehead and put it on your nose. And then, you know how we use 3 primers? We're also gonna use 3 blushes. And I understand that that is excessive, but we're gonna use 2 more. I don't know, I like a blushy look. I like a dimensional blushy look. So this is Tarte in the shade Blushing Bride. It's again, a very pink color. We're gonna take that just on a big cheek blush brush. And we are just going to put it over the blush that we just put on, kind of focusing this a bit more towards the front. And with blush, because you are like doing this motion, it is just kind of making your skin turn a little bit red underneath the blush that you're putting on. So if it looks like you're putting on a little bit too much blush, you're probably not. And it's probably just showing up a bit more pigmented because you are like tapping your face, and that makes it turn red. Then we're gonna go in with the shade Seduce, which is more of like a neutral nude pink. And we're just gonna put that more over the back and the cheekbone. Don't worry if it doesn't look super blended now. We are going to make sure everything is blended together. And then we are going to use a powder bronzer. I'm going to use this one from this Jaclyn Cosmetics duo. I talk about this all the time. So I'm just going to pick that up on a brush and just kind of stamp over the bronzer that we just did underneath, just so that the bronzer stays, and just an additional layer of security insurance for the bronzer. People always say that their blush is the first thing to fade. For me, it's my bronzer. My bronzer fades before anything else. Okay, so then once that's all on and you look a little clown-like, I love taking a big, loose, fluffy brush. This is the powder brush from Real Techniques, and I will just kind of buff over the whole area of where I just put my blush and bronzer. So I'll do one side first so you can see. Just buff over all of it. And this will pick up a little bit of excess product and also just blends everything in together and softens everything a little bit. I recommend closing your eye when you do this. And now everything is softened up a little bit and it's all blended nice and well together. So it's a little blending hack for you. And you know what, let's just finish the face. Next I'm gonna go in with highlighter. This is the Laura Mercier Matte Baked Radiance powder in Highlight 01. It is absolutely stunning, it's so pretty. And we're just going to put this on the high points of the cheeks. So right here, and I really like work this kind of into my skin because I don't like a stripe of highlight, but like I like it to look like it belongs, if that makes sense. And I like to put some on the tip of my nose and a little bit right there for like a full glam look. Definitely on the nose. Just a tad, just a teensy weensy bit up there. Because this is full glam, we're going for it, okay? And then once I'm finished with the face, before I even do the eyes or anything else, I do set the face with my setting spray. So this is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. And this one is really, really great. So, because this is what I'm most concerned about, keeping on all night. My eyeshadow I know isn't gonna go anywhere. I don't wanna spray it on my lipstick or my lip gloss. My brows are gonna be fine. And I don't want my mascara to smudge when you spray stuff. So this is the point in my routine when I set my face, so. And don't be shy. If you wanna lock your makeup on, make sure you get every part of your face covered. And that also takes away some of like the powderiness, if there was any left on your face. Using any sort of a spray will tone that down. Okay, now getting into the eyes. This is my favorite part. It's so simple. It's 2 eyeshadows. It looks so beautiful and complex, but it's literally just 2 eyeshadows. So let's get into it. On a big fluffy brush, this is the Tartelette palette. I'm gonna take this shade Wanderer right here, just like any sort of like cooler toned brown. I know a lot of people use warm tone browns for their like crease and transition colors and stuff. I have cool tone skin, I have blue eyes. I just don't feel like warm tones flatter me, you know? So we're just going to build that up in the crease and above. Just make sure, bring it all the way in and out, and we're just really gonna blend it out. Once that is on, I'm gonna go into the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette because this palette has the only sort of like shadow kind of like this. It's this one right here. And you'll see, it's like this brown shimmer, but with glitter, but like, not, I don't know how to describe it. It's stunning. So we're gonna pick that up on our finger, just like that. We're gonna put that on the lid. I'll bring you in for this, hopefully you can see well. And we're just gonna pack it onto the lid, keeping it low, keeping it on the lid. With our finger. And it doesn't have to be clean. Don't worry about it being clean. I hope it's picking it up on camera because it really looks like it's just like little speckles everywhere. It's just so beautiful. And then we're gonna pick the color up on a flat brush. This is a MAC 242, love this brush. But you're just gonna pick up a bit of it on the brush, and then I'll bring you in again. And then we're gonna just make sure it's really on the inner corner and the outer corner. And then once it is packed on the entire lid, we're gonna go back in with the shade that we used in our crease and just make sure, because you see how the top of the shadow was a little bit messy, we're just gonna make sure that that's blended into the transition shade. And it like disappears into the crease. And we're bringing the shade all the way in like the same intensity that we're bringing it out, because we want more of that rounded shape to the eye. And that is all there is to the lid, so I'm just gonna go do that to the other eye and I'll be right back. And then because we are going full glam, we are lining the eyes, we are tight lining and lining the waterline. I'm gonna do it in a brown, so that way we can just keep the whole eye look brown. This is like the most stressful thing in the world for me, because I want to pull my eyelid up, but I just put this shimmer on the lid, so I can't, and I should have done it before. So if you're doing this look, or you're gonna tight line your eyes, do it before you put shimmer on your lid if you're gonna do that. And then to really make sure that that eyeliner in the waterline is not going anywhere, I'm going to set it with an eyeshadow, and I'm gonna set it with the eyeshadow that we used on our lid, so that way we can bring some of that shimmer down to the bottom lash line as well. And then we're gonna blend that out. I'm just gonna use the same brush because I don't feel like dirtying another brush with that same Wanderer shade. And I'm just gonna hold it like on the bristle, so that way it's not like big and fluffy everywhere. But I'm just gonna kind of buff out the bottom lash line a little bit. All the way in and out. Which will bring the shadow down, and it will also, if anything got loose, or any pigment that could be blended out from the waterline, it'll get blended out right now. And one thing for me that is so important when I'm doing the bottom lash line is to wrap it into the crease to make sure that it's all connected. And so now that we have the intense eye look, the face doesn't look as intense now. Do you see how that works? And then I'm just gonna take the highlight that we used on the face and use that to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. Just, I don't know, I like the look of using the same highlighter on the face and the eye so that everything kind of looks cohesive and like it all belongs on the same face. And if there was any fallout under your eyes from the eyeshadow, just take any sort of a brush, a stipple brush, or just like any sort of fluffy brush, and just wipe it away. Just wipe it away. Just wipe it away. It's not gonna smear all over your face, I promise. And then to finish up the face, I'm just gonna do the brows, Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. You already know. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go put this in. And then I'm gonna do kind of a neutrally pink lip. So I'm gonna take my Huda Beauty lip liner in warm brown, just line the lips with that, just for a little bit of structure. And then I blend it out with my finger. Because again, I'm not trying to have it look stark, I just want a little bit of structure added to my lips. And this shade is a bit darker than my lips, so it just adds something a little nice. And then Wet n Wild matte lipstick in Bare It All, very nice mid-tony neutral pink. And I'm gonna like tap that on, because I'm not looking for like a crazy bold lip. And then we're gonna go with the Tower 28 lip gloss in the shade Pistachio. And again, a nude pink. And then last but not least, lashes. I'm gonna curl my lashes. And then this is the Saie Beauty Mascara 101 Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara. It's really beautiful. $26. You need to spend $26 on a mascara? No, but if you are going to, I recommend this one. I'm gonna do top and bottom lashes with mascara. And I'm gonna build this up a bit more than I would for every day. Okay, and there is the final look. Let's take the headband out and see how it all looks. So then at this point, just kind of look, assess the situation. Do you want more blush, more bronzer? Do you want less of something? And then you can adjust whenever you need to. I am very happy with how this came out. I think it looks very beautiful. It's full glam, it's bold, but it's not unwearable. It really just makes the eyes pop. It draws your attention to your features and not to like, wow, she's wearing a lot of makeup, you know? And so I think that's because we kept it to browns on the lid, neutral pink colors on the cheeks and lips. And so there's nothing super crazy that's going to pull attention the wrong way. And when I wore this out to dinner, I did not feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel like, oh, people are gonna look at me because I'm wearing so much makeup, because I'm wearing a lot of makeup, because I look crazy. I just felt really beautiful, and I feel like I look hot, you know? Like, it's one of those makeup looks where I'm just like, damn, like I'd hit it. Which sounds ridiculous, but like that's how you should feel after you do your makeup. You just put in all this time and effort. You should want to think that you're hot. And that is definitely how this look makes me feel. The eyes are coming up a little bit warm on camera, but I promise that they're actually not that warm in person. It is more of like a neutral brown. No, it's still looking warm. Looks worse now. Looks worse. And it looks up close. Here's how it looks. So you can see every detail. There you go. And there you go. I hope that you enjoyed this look. I hope that you, I don't know, if you're looking for a birthday look, that you do this, that if you try this look, you feel really pretty. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, it's still looking warm. Looks worse now. Looks worse.